Hello good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here. Today I'm bringing you my second impressions video for the brand new re-released Tier 8 premium German aircraft carrier, Graf Zeppelin. Alright, I just want to get something out of the way at the start. For the first impressions video, that video has done very well, and it's still continuing to do very well. It's probably getting close to 4,000 views right now, which is a lot for this channel. And if you're, still watching from that first impressions video, if you're a new viewer on this channel, I didn't really explain how this video series works, which led to a lot of people complaining about my lack of, how would I describe my lack of skill in the first impressions video. So this video review style that I do is I do a first impressions video, which is my first 3 to 4 matches in a ship. Second impressions video, which is after I've played it for a couple of days. Then my final impressions video, which is after I've played it for a couple of weeks. And I do this so it's kind of a review and process, and so that you guys watching can see what it's like to really pick up a premium ship for the first time and fumble around with it. Now, we've all been there, but if you watch some of the other bigger Warships YouTube channels and their reviews, they've usually had the ship for a couple of weeks, and a lot of them are community contributors, so they've had it for, potentially months before it's released. Now, granted that it may change and all, but they've still had way more time with it than what I do. So I like to give a realistic, impression of the ship. So I'm going to show you what it's like playing it for the first time if you're not, an aircraft carrier player, or if you're not a destroyer player or a cruiser player, or anything like that, because I'm an average player, and a lot of those reviews, they give you the impression that you can just pick this up and, the first couple of matches you're going to do awesome in it, because they say the ship's awesome. They show you this game they've had where they do like 150, 180,000 damage, which, yes, you can do that in whatever ship they're reviewing, but you're not going to be doing that the first couple of days that you have the ship. So that's what I like to do. I like to give you guys a realistic expectation of what your first couple battles in the ship are going to be like, if you aren't, someone who plays that type of ship a lot, because I mainly play battleships and cruisers right now. I'm branching out into destroyers and aircraft carriers now, but still my best ship class is battleships. And even in some newly released premium battleships that I still haven't got the feel for, I still stumble around in those first couple of games, and I like to show that to you guys. It just gives you guys a realistic expectation of what, the ship's going to be like the first couple of games that you play it. So anyway, now that that's out the way, that's basically a long explanation as to why I wasn't doing so hot in that first impressions video. But you guys should have seen the Graf Zeppelin I Got Better video, where that was literally 5 or 6 games after I got done recording for the first impressions video. I had gotten a feel for the ship and the planes and stuff, and I did very well, as you guys saw. So anyway, the Graf Zeppelin, how is she? To me, she still feels good. Her planes are extremely fast, except for the rocket planes. The dive bombers and torpedo bombers, they are some very fast planes. Now, the downside to this is that they ain't got a lot of health. So while they got the speed, they don't have the health, and the rocket planes don't have either. The rocket planes on the Graf Zeppelin are the slowest rocket planes at Tier 8. They go 133 knots, the boost gets you up to 180-ish knots. And quite frankly, that's not fast enough for these rocket planes to do anything except pick on a destroyer for a little while. And you can't even pick on a destroyer for that long, because you will lose almost all your planes to a destroyer if you stick around it for a while. Now, that is obviously a huge downside, because the rocket planes, a lot of the other ships' rocket planes are very, very good. But Graf Zeppelin, no, they're not that great. I use them at the start of the match. I send them out to scout. If I find a destroyer, I'll just dump all of them on him. Come back, I'll launch the torpedo planes or the dive bombers. Now, the torpedo planes are much, much better than the rocket planes. They are very, very fast. They have a very nice drop pattern. And, well, the bad thing about the torpedo planes is the torpedoes. The torpedoes are ungodly slow. So you have to give these ships huge leads, or you have to drop it as close as you possibly can to the ship, which That's a problem because you need a fairly large run-up on a ship in order to get your drop pattern to tighten up. And if it's a ship all by its lonesome self, you can drop as close as 6 kilometers. But if it's a ship, they get flat going on, other ships around it, other ships are shooting at your planes, you're going to need about an 8 kilometer run up to get your drop pattern tightened up. Now, I'm still working on the prediction for these torpedoes because often I still drop them just short. And it's very aggravating because some of the times the amount of lead you have to give these torpedoes, the ships can maneuver to where you only get 1 torpedo hit, which is kind of disappointing because torpedo damage has been nerfed. So it does about 2,000 or 3,000 damage per torpedo. Now when you get all 3 torpedoes on target, you can get up to, I think I've gotten up to like 12,000 damage before because they all hit on the bow of some German battleship. There was the Bismarck actually. But, it varies upon what ship type and torpedo protection and all that, but the damage isn't that great. But you can, once you, well, I've gotten it to where I've managed to find I think it was an Amagi. He was just going real slow. He wasn't maneuvering too much. I don't know what was going on with him. But I managed to just stay on him with my whole torpedo plane squadron. I managed to get quite a bit of damage out of him with all the flooding and stuff. But in most cases, you're not going to be doing too high. Like I said, you may have that 1 or 2 case where the ships either run aground or they're all alone by themselves, and for whatever reason they're sniping and not paying attention. You could get 2 good salvos off on him, but they aren't that fantastic. Now, the dive bombers are really, really good. They're fast, and they have that circle drop reticle, which means you can approach the target from pretty much any angle you want, and you still get some pretty good pins. Now, the problem with the dive bombers is that they are AP bombs, not HE, which that's a benefit and a downside. Because while they are AP, if you can pin the deck, you can do some really, really good damage to whatever ship you're bombing. Well, mostly battleships. Cruisers is hard to hit. I mean, granted, if I managed to freaking nuke a Cleveland out of existence with these planes before because he was grounded and perfectly still. So that was great. But most of the times it's really easy for the cruisers to dodge your bombs because it is only 2 bombs that get dropped per attack. So you're mainly going to be going after battleships. Now, on German battleships, it's a German carrier and it's really good at damaging German battleships. It's really easy to do this because, well, look at the freaking FDG and the Kurfürst and the Bismarck. They got huge decks. But on some more slender ships like the American battleships, it's a bit harder to do. And plus, the Americans have that really tall superstructure, and it's easy to hit that instead of hitting the deck. Now, hitting the stern of American battleships is easier because if you know what an Iowa and a North Carolina and a Montana stern looks like, it's a really big, nice and thick stern, but the bow is really slender. So, and plus they also do have good AA, so that makes it more difficult right there. But anyway, but when these bombs do hit, you can get citadels for days if you once you manage to figure it out, and you can be farming about 7,000 damage per citadel that you get with these dive bombers. It's really, really nice. I'm not gonna downplay that. These are some really nice dive bombers, but they are aggravating at times. Now, a lot of people were asking me, well, you're showing us games where you're top tier. With the I Got Better video, I was top tier in that game. And a couple of guys commented, well, show us what the Graf Zeppelin's like at tier 10. And I would really like to, but honestly, I have not been getting a lot of tier 10 games in the Graf Zeppelin. I don't know if it's because it's spring break right now, and a lot of people are playing that don't normally play, or what, but I have not gotten a lot of tier 10 games in the Graf Zeppelin. However, I have gotten tier 10 games in the Graf Zeppelin, and it sucks. It really sucks. Because your planes, again, they have so little health. And the torpedo bombers need a big run-up, and the rocket planes are so slow. The dive bombers are probably your best bet at tier 10 because you can just frickin' zoom in, frickin' blitzkrieg in, drop your bombs, and just get on out in there. So that's your best bet at tier 10, but it does just come down to it's tier 10 AA versus tier 8 planes that have not a lot of health. Another problem with these planes is that they get absolutely shredded by fighter planes. I've tried going after carriers because this is how normally a tier 9 or tier 10 game in the Graf Zeppelin goes. People stay bunched up. It's just how they are right now. So you have to try and find that ship that's alone by itself, and oftentimes there isn't one because people have caught on to, hey, we need to stay grouped up if we don't want to get wrecked by the carriers. And then you have to search around the map trying to find someone all alone by their lonesome. And often I run across the other carrier. I'm like, hey, he's all alone by himself. All right, sweet. I'll get a couple of torp runs off on him, and so I'll start to line up my attack. But then their fighter planes come in, and oh my god, there's nothing you can do against the fighter planes. I know, obviously, well, don't fly into the fighter plane's attack radius. Yeah, but when you're just zooming around in your planes, you can't attack anything because everyone's all bunched up. What else are you gonna do? It's your best target. It's a carrier all along by itself, and oh my god. But yeah, fighter planes shred the Graf Zeppelin's planes so fast. Like, it's so fast sometimes. Like, I'll click, and before the bombs or torpedoes drop, all the planes are already shot down. It's that bad. So, it is rough when things don't go your way. Now, when things do go your way, you're in a tier 8 or even a tier 9 game. As long as it isn't flooded by tier 9 ships, you can still do fairly decent. I've gotten to where I can do about 60 to 70,000 damage per round now. And obviously, if things don't go my way, everyone stays grouped up. It's going to be a little bit lower at 50 or 40,000 damage, just because your planes don't have the health to get through. And that 40 to 50,000 damage that I'm doing, that's just me flying in with either the dive bombers or trying to drop the torpedoes from way off and hoping they hit. But I'm not going to lie to you, it struggles at tier 9, and it really struggles at tier 10. Now, of course, there are the secondaries, which are freaking hilarious. I'm using the same captain and the same module build that I had in the first impressions video, and man, these secondaries are freaking mean. I actually got adrenaline rush. It does have it does actually benefit the planes. The planes get even faster with adrenaline rush, so there is that. So I can get off of saying I got that, but man. I think I do have the clip recorded. It was tier 9 game, I believe. And me and the I think it was a Kaga that were left alive. Or what was it? I don't know. It was me and some other carrier that was left alive, and a Jean Bart was chasing me down, and my health was just dropping. And I think I farmed like 20 or 30,000 damage just from the secondaries, because again, the stupid autopilot. The ship is only traveling at half speed instead of full blast. Why? I don't know. And I'm going freaking 15 knots, and then there's a Jean Bart chasing me down, but my secondary is just tearing into him. And as the Jean Bart kept taking off health, adrenaline rush kicks in, and your reload gets faster. So I got like 20 or 30,000 damage off of him, because the secondary is 100. A lot of them are 150 millimeters, which has 32 millimeters of pin, and Jean Bart is just straight 32 millimeters of armor, and a lot of tier 9 and tier 10 battleships have a whole lot of 32 millimeters of armor on their bow. So it was just pinning it, and just it was great, setting fires and all that. The secondaries on this thing are really, really good, and I know a lot of you said it's pointless to spec into, but man, it's so worth it when something stupid like that happens. Or I've killed several cruisers that have tried to sneak up on me before, and yes, I did say cruisers and not destroyers. They try to sneak up on me, and then they don't expect you to be commanding the ship. That's the best thing you can do. If a destroyer or a cruiser sneaks up on you, just freaking drop what you're doing, let the planes get shot down. It's better than you losing your carrier, and control your carrier manually. Get your torp beats ready, and get it angled to where all your secondaries can get on them. Now, that's another good thing too. You don't have to show full broadside for the secondaries to get on them. You can stay pretty steeply angled, as you're probably seeing the clip that I'm playing on screen right now. and you will still be able to get all these secondaries on target, and if they choose to shoot AP, you'll bounce their shells. It's really, really satisfying, and you should try it. So Graf Zeppelin, let me give you a little end summary for the second impressions. Feels good, does very good at tier 8, it can hang at tier 9, tier 10 it really, really struggles. Tier 10, your best bet is just spotting damage and pray someone leaves the group. If not, it is a premium ship, so if you lose, you probably won't lose much money, if any, as long as you get some damage in. So you have that to kind of comfort you, but it is what it is. But I still do think this is a fun ship. This is a really fun, just derpy ship. I mean, a carrier with awesome secondaries. You know, it's crazy. That's what it sounds like. It's goofy, and I do enjoy it as such. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. And be sure to join the Discord. There's a link in the description down below. We're trying to get that up. We just got over 100 members in there, and there's almost 2,000 of you guys on this channel. We would love to see more of you guys down in the Discord. So I hope you are all having a wonderful Thursday. And yes, it is Thursday. This is going on Thursday. Man, my week's just blurring into one giant day. So anyway, hope you're all having a wonderful Thursday. Hope to see all of you guys in the next one.